I think it's a very straightforward answer. If you look at the challenges that the globe faces right now, many of them are in part caused by the fact that we have very uneven and in many cases inadequate education outcomes. And it is incredibly important that the G20 takes on this issue collectively. One of the points that I made in the room just now is that on the one hand, the G20 is a fantastic gathering for looking at the domestic education environments of the 20 countries that are part of the G20. That's great. However, there's also a fantastic opportunity for collective will around education from all of the governments. Why is that? If we don't invest in education globally, we're going to have millions of youth, it's actually 825 million has been estimated out of 1.6 billion will be alive in 2030, who will not have the skills to be able to get a job in the increasingly digitalized economy. If we don't invest in education, will we be breeding circumstances of lack of opportunity for millions of children, and that breeds a sense of lack of hope, desperation, and those issues spill across borders and lead to instability, insecurity, and those are problems that are globally faced. We will have a group of people who can't contend with sort of the globe's challenges, climate change, health issues. Also, if you think about trade, trade is an enormously important source of growth and opportunity for many countries. And if we want to have the engine to drive that, we have to invest in the human talent to be able to do that. And that means getting people educated with the skills and the talents they need to be able to be, educated workers, educated consumers, educated, contributors to their economy, and so forth. And so it is an absolutely global challenge, and I will encourage every G20 country that I have the pleasure of seeing to put it on their agenda. So well done for Argentina for doing it. If you think about, again, the sort of potential global talent of the world, and you decide that you're going to leave half of it off to the side, that is not a very smart decision, because you're leaving half the talent outside of the realm of being able to contribute. So that's the reason why we have to educate girls. Also, if you think about, in all societies are different to some extent, but educated women will be able to educate their families, take care of their families, also work in the workforce. I mean, there's many long-term and short-term generational benefits of educating girls. So why are girls not being educated? Part of it is societal. There are some societies that have not, for whatever reason, not educated girls to the full extent that they've educated boys. Part of it is an issue of poverty. In many countries, families are faced with the choice of deciding, are they going to send the girl or send the boy? And they often send the boy. We need to help those countries grow out of poverty so that families are not faced with those issues. Part of it's capacity. School systems aren't adequate enough. Part of it is security and safety. As girls get to beyond primary school into lower secondary school, they may have to travel a long distance. It may be in an unsafe environment. They may get raped or abducted or killed, and we unfortunately see that happening. Schools need adequate facilities for girls, separate toilets. A lot of schools don't have that. So there are, they also need to be women teachers, not just as role models, but I think it does provide, in some cases, a sense of safety. So there's a lot of both societal and what I would call operational infrastructural barriers to educating girls. Now the good news is that many countries are beginning to realize this. They're beginning to put a lot of effort into getting girls into school, and we need to create as much opportunity around that as we possibly can, because we shouldn't leave half of the globe's talent off to the side. Can't do it. This is GPE's bread and butter. Right now, as part of our partnership, we work with the 65 lowest income countries of the world. That is steadily going to increase as we are able to work with countries in different ways. We basically do two things. First, we work with ministries very much behind their leadership to put in place what we call a strong education sector plan. And that is a once every 5 or 10 year opportunity for a country to say, how are we doing in education? Where are the gaps? How are we going to remedy them? What priorities we have? And it's a big, both technical and political moment for a country to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We help countries do that. We also provide grant financing, and it is oriented towards the lowest income countries in the world. Right now we have a financial footprint where we distribute about $450 million a year. That was up from $300 million a year not so long ago. And with our recent replenishment conference in Dakar, it will go up to about $750 million a year. So our financial footprint and capacity is growing. That's good news. We provide grants of up to $100 million to these lowest income countries to help them implement education. We also have a whole series of smaller technical grants to help with a lot of the analytics and the assessment. But the main idea is to help countries get on the right strategic pathway, but also to provide them financing so that they can have the resources they need to deliver education. So we're very focused about the countries that are most in need and helping the children within those countries that are most in need.